I took my car to the shop for a burnt-out headlight and almost paid $800 in a scam you need to know about. Right now. You take your car to the repair shop because a headlight burned out. The mechanic looks at it, furrows his brow, and tells you the problem is serious. Module burnt out. Wiring harness compromised. Specialized labor required. The estimate? $800. But the real problem cost $5. A fuse. In the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal how this scam works, who's running it, and most importantly, how you'll never fall for this trap again. My name is tied to the Garage Scams channel, and over the past 3 years, I've dissected more than 200 cases of fraud at auto repair shops and dealerships. And this burnt headlight scam that turns into an absurd bill is one of the most common and one of the most profitable for dishonest shops. You're going to discover exactly how to identify when they're trying to rip you off. You'll learn the technical language they use to confuse you, and you'll leave here knowing how to defend yourself. Before we continue, if you own a car or you're thinking about taking yours in for maintenance soon, this video could save you hundreds or even thousands of dollars. And if you know someone who's already fallen for repair shop scams, share this content because information is the only real defense we have against these traps. So let's get straight to the point. The burnt headlight scam works like this. You notice that one of your car's headlights isn't turning on. Could be the low beam, the high beam, or even the tail light. You take it to the shop thinking it's something simple. And it should be. In the overwhelming majority of cases, when a headlight goes out, the problem is a burnt bulb or a blown fuse. A bulb costs between $20 and $80 depending on the model. A fuse, $5. The swap takes 10 minutes. But then the theater begins. The mechanic opens the hood, fiddles with some wires, turns the headlight on and off, and comes back with that worried look. He says he tested it and it's not the bulb. Says the fuse is fine. And then comes the bombshell. He tells you the headlight module is burnt out, or that the wiring harness melted, or that the connector is corroded and you need to replace the entire wiring. Technical terms you don't understand, said with a confidence that makes you believe him. The estimate appears. New part $300, $400, specialized labor $200, $300. Total $600, $800, sometimes $1,000. And you, without technical knowledge, trust him. You authorize the service, you pay the bill, and you only discover the scam much later, if you discover it at all. I'm going to tell you about a real case that happened 6 months ago in Los Angeles. A customer reached out to me desperate. He had a 2019 Honda Civic with LED headlights. The left headlight went out. He took it to a shop, a place that seemed legit. Good structure, certificates on the wall. The mechanic said it was the burnt LED module, and they'd need to replace the original part. Estimate? $1,200, part plus labor. The customer authorized it because he trusted them. He paid. The headlight started working again, but 3 weeks later, the other headlight went out. He went back to the same shop. Guess the diagnosis? The module on the other side also burned out. Another $1,200. That's when he got suspicious and contacted me. I asked him not to authorize anything and took the car to a trusted automotive electrician. You know what the problem was? A fuse. A 10-amp fuse that cost $7. The electrician changed it in 5 minutes. The headlight worked perfectly. In other words, the customer was about to pay $1,200 for a $7 service. But the story gets worse. I asked the electrician to check the first repair, that $1,200 job that had already been done, and we discovered that the module was never replaced. They didn't do anything. They probably just reseated the connector that had a bad connection and charged him for a phantom module. Complete fraud. The customer filed a lawsuit and got his money back, but most people never even find out. Now you must be wondering, why does this scam work so well? Why do so many people fall for it? The answer lies in the combination of 3 factors. First, technical ignorance. Most people don't understand anything about automotive electrical systems. They don't know what a module is, a harness, a fuse. Second, fear. When the mechanic says the problem is serious, that it could get worse, that it could leave you stranded, you panic and authorize anything. And third, misplaced trust. You think you're at a serious shop and that the mechanic is being honest, and dishonest shops know this. They have a script, a rehearsed routine to run this scam. I'm going to reveal now the 5 exact steps they follow to rip you off, and then I'm going to teach you how to protect yourself at each of these steps. Step 1. Creating the complex problem. When you arrive saying the headlight won't turn on, the mechanic already knows you don't understand electrical work, so he creates a problem that seems too technical for you to question. He doesn't say fuse because you might Google it and discover it costs $5. He says module harness, connector, words that sound expensive and complicated. Step 2. False demonstration of competence. The mechanic grabs a multimeter, that little device that measures voltage. He touches it to the wires, looks at the numbers, shakes his head. He's performing technical competence to convince you that he really tested everything, but most of the time he doesn't even know how to use the multimeter properly. It's just theater. Step 3. Risk amplification. He says if you don't fix it now, the problem will get worse, that it could burn out other components, that it could even cause a fire. This puts you in a state of urgency, and you authorize without researching. Step 4. Inflated estimate with original part. He'll always say you need an original part from the dealership. This justifies the absurd price, but many times he doesn't even use an original part. He uses a cheap aftermarket one or simply doesn't replace anything. Step 5. Specialized labor. He charges a high labor rate saying it's a complex service that requires a specialized technician. But replacing a fuse or reseating a connector takes minutes, and anyone with basic knowledge can do it. And here comes a detail that few people know. This scam is especially common in cars with LED or xenon headlights. Why? Because these systems really do have electronic modules and are more expensive. So, when the mechanic says the module burned out, it sounds plausible. You don't question it, and the owners of these cars generally have more money, so the shops know they can charge higher amounts. I've documented 15 cases just in the last 6 months. Honda Civic, Toyota Corolla, VW Jetta, all with LED headlights, all with the same false diagnosis, burnt module. Estimates between $800 and $1,500. And in 13 of the 15 cases, the problem was a fuse or bad connection at the connector. 2 cases really did have a burnt LED bulb, but even so, the real cost was less than $200. But hold on, there's more. Because this scam doesn't just happen with headlights, it works with any electrical component in the car. Power window stops working? The mechanic says the motor burned out. $600 estimate, but it's the fuse. Air conditioning not cooling? He says the compressor is bad. $1,500, but it's the fuse or the relay. Power lock not working. Actuator burnt out, $400, but it's the fuse. The pattern is always the same. Simple electrical problem turns into expensive diagnosis, and the reason is obvious. A fuse gives 50 cents profit. An invented module gives $500 profit, so the dishonest shop will always choose to diagnose the module. Now let's get to what really matters. How do you protect yourself? I'm going to give you a step-by-step checklist that you should follow whenever you have an electrical problem with your car. If you follow this, the chance of you falling for this scam drops to almost zero. First, before taking it to the shop, try replacing the fuse yourself. It sounds scary, but it's simple. Open the car's manual, look for the fuse box location. Usually, it's under the dashboard on the driver's side or in the engine compartment. Open the cover. Inside, there's a diagram showing which fuse is for each component. Find the headlight fuse, pull it out, look if the internal filament is burnt. If it's burnt, buy a new fuse with the same amperage, cost between $3 and $10 at any auto parts store. Put it in place. Test it. If the headlight comes back on, done. You just saved $800. Second, if it's not the fuse, check the bulb. Open the hood, access the headlight compartment from behind. Turn the bulb base and pull it out. Look at the filament. If it's burnt, buy a new bulb. Depending on the model, costs between $20 and $80. Put it in place, test it. If it works, you just saved another $700. Third, if neither fuse nor bulb solved it, then take it to the shop. But take it with this information. Tell the mechanic you already tested the fuse and bulb, and you want him to check the connector and wiring. This shows you have knowledge and greatly reduces the chance he'll try to rip you off. Fourth, when the mechanic gives the diagnosis, ask to see the burnt part. If he says the module is bad, ask him to show you the module and explain exactly what's burnt. An honest mechanic has no problem showing and explaining. A dishonest mechanic will dodge, will say you can't see it, that it's internal, that it requires special equipment. That's a red flag. If he won't show you, don't authorize the service. Fifth, always ask for a written estimate detailing part and labor separately, and research the part price before authorizing. Go on Amazon, look for the original part for your car model. Compare. If the shop's price is way above, question it. If they're charging $400 for a part that costs $150 new online, something's wrong. Sixth, if the estimate seems way too high, get a second opinion. Take it to another shop or to a specialized automotive electrician. Electricians tend to be more honest than multi-brand shops because their work is focused only on electrical, not on inventing services. And seventh, if you already fell for the scam and paid, you can still reverse it. If it was with a credit card, you have up to 90 days to dispute the charge at the bank claiming service not provided or fraud. If it was cash or bank transfer, you can go to small claims court. You don't need a lawyer for claims up to the limit. Take the car to an automotive expert, get a technical report proving the service wasn't necessary or wasn't done, and sue the shop. Your chances of winning are high if you have the proof. But there's an important detail. Some truly honest shops might diagnose a burnt module and be right. So how do you differentiate? Simple. An honest shop shows you the old part, explains the problem clearly, doesn't pressure you, gives written warranty on the service, and the price is within market average. A dishonest shop doesn't show anything, uses technical terms to confuse, pressures you to authorize quickly, doesn't give clear warranty, and the price is way above normal. And there's another point you need to know. This scam happens more at small neighborhood shops and at some large chains that work with aggressive commission for mechanics. Official dealerships rarely run this specific scam because they have more to lose in terms of reputation. But dealerships have other scams, mainly with mandatory service, which I've already exposed in other videos on the channel. Now, if you've made it this far, you're already armed with enough information to never fall for the burnt headlight scam again. But I want to go beyond. I want you to understand the psychology behind this scam, because this will protect you, not just in this case, but in any situation where someone tries to sell you a service you do not need. The main tactic is always information asymmetry. They know that you don't know, and they use technical terms, tools you're not familiar with, and institutional trust to make you believe their diagnosis is correct. But the reality is that most electrical problems in cars are simple: fuse, bulb, connector. Complex problems exist, but they're the minority. And the second tactic is fear. They put you in a state of urgency. They say it could get worse, that it could be dangerous, that you could get stranded on the highway. This shuts down your rational thinking, and you authorize impulsively. So whenever someone pressures you to make a quick decision about car repair, stop, breathe, ask for time to think, research, get a second opinion. There's no real urgency in most cases. And finally, they bet that you won't verify afterward, that you'll pay, the headlight will work, and you'll go on with your life without ever discovering you were ripped off. And most of the time they're right. But now you know, and you can spread this information. So to close, I'll repeat what's most important. When a headlight on your car goes out, before taking it to the shop, check the fuse, then check the bulb. If it's neither one, take it to the shop, but ask to see the defective part. Ask for a detailed estimate, research the price, get a second opinion, and never authorize service under pressure. These simple rules can save you thousands of dollars over your lifetime. And if you like this content, subscribe to the channel, because every week I bring a new scam that's happening at dealerships and repair shops. In the next video, I'm going to expose the 10,000-mile service scam, where they charge you for services that aren't mandatory and replace parts that are still good. You're going to discover exactly what really needs to be done at service and what's pure nonsense. Stay tuned.